How's the weather out west?
It's kind of rainy.
Has it been rainy? That's what I mean. It looks like I'm not exactly sure where in the great state you're located,
You don't
but
even know where I live?
well, I know the town, but I don't know where the town is.
Southern California.
Southern. Okay, yeah. It
Yeah.
looks like you guys might be getting some flooding or something.
No,
No?
no, we're not. Actually, our one of our aunts called me last week and asked if we were okay because all the news coverage she's seeing is like we are underwater and we're dying and we need supplies. And I'm like, no, that's not us. So we're not that far south.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
That
you guys aren't getting rain, right? You're not getting snow. You're not getting anything.
yeah, we did get a little more snow, but it's almost
Oh,
all gone now.
oh,
Yeah,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
that is true.
Looking forward to some warmer weather. I kind of like the light winter. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm,
Saves on the heating bills.
I don't know. I think if I were back home, I would want a real winter.
Well, you can just go ahead and stay where you're at because I don't want a real winter.
We could always go out and buy a piece of sheetrock and grind it up for you.
Oh
What?
yeah, there you go.
What?
Sheetrock.
What does that do?
Yeah, it
It's
makes
white
fake,
white powder.
yeah, makes fake snow.
Oh, okay. Didn't know.
And a heck of a mess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's new with everybody? I'll be honest with you. I don't really have anything new. I've been working my rear off. I've got enough projects going on.
So have I. I've been working really hard too.
Sure you have, Dad.
But have you?
I was
Working
waiting
hard
for
or
that.
hardly working?
Hardly working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I went to another so-called jam session at the airport.
Oh,
Yeah?
out was that just north of you?
Yes. Yeah, we were doing some old country songs, basically Merle Haggard songs, real old ones with an acoustic guitar. I did bring the acoustic guitar that both of you gave me for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So, and played that. Didn't get anything thrown at me, so I must have been doing pretty good.
No tomatoes.
No tomatoes or fruit or anything like that.
That's good.
So, yeah, and basically just a lot of easy stuff. It was basically the chords were C, G, and sometimes F chords.
No, F is not an easy chord. That's why they call it the F chord.
Yeah, probably.
that's, that's probably the hardest chord I have ever had to get over. Like I can get the F chord. I just have trouble getting to it.
Yeah. Well, he was using the other guy, this guy BJ, that's his name. Bob is his first name. He was using the open cowboy chords, playing
Sure.
the C and the G and the F, and I was using all bar chords. So
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I learned the F as a bar chord, where the,
Yeah,
where
it's
the
just-
first fret is barred.
yeah, I was just trying to sound a little different, like compliment him a little bit, compliment what he was doing, because he was singing the songs, which was pretty interesting, and they're old cowboy type songs. So
But it sounds
then,
like you're having fun, like you're into it.
yeah, it's not too bad. And then Jim was playing the bass, and I should say trying to play the bass. He's learning, but he's getting a hold of it.
Yeah.
It's coming along slowly but surely.
That's what everybody does. But somehow, and I want to know your secrets. So tell our listeners, even though they're all family, how do you convince your spouse that you need another guitar?
Well, it's a long story.
You promised her a trip to the quilt shop
I did.
while you're in town.
Yeah. I promised her a long arm sewing machine. So, no. What happened is that I put out, this was quite a while ago, I put out a thing out at, Guitar Box down there, because I know a lot of people down there. And I just wanted to know if they could, I was always looking for a butterscotch Telecaster. I've never had a Telecaster before. So I got a call from one of the guys down there saying, "Hey, we got something in stock. You got to come down and look at it." Matter of fact, I think this was on Monday, and I think, Tim, I was talking to you during the week. I was asking you about Telecasters and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went down, so then I was like, I was going to call him back and say pass on it. But then they had it hanging up on the very, very top shelf of the establishment. And some guy came in and wanted to look at it, and he was interested in buy it, but they told him I had first dibs on it. So they didn't text me, they emailed me. And so Saturday, I ran down there and picked it up.
Yeah, and it's a full blown fender. You went all out.
Yeah, fender bumper. Yeah.
It looks very similar to mine, except mine is Squire.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
actually, here's what sold me on it. Not that the thing is that I got a good buy on it, first of all.
Right.
Good deal on it. The second thing I got was I liked Fender is now on, well, even on some of the Squires, they're doing what they call, like, remember that guitar you just got recently, Tim?
Yeah, was it the 40th anniversary or the 70th?
Right, Squire.
Squire.
Well, they rolled the fingerboard. The edges of the fingerboard, they roll them so it's nice and easy on your hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They did the same thing on this thing, and I was like, wow, this is really good. This is really nice. So I sort of fell in love with it right away. So
yeah, that'll happen.
Like I need another one.
It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, and you can go to gigs now and throw in some Chris Stapleton riffs.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, you want to know something? The Telecaster is used for, it's been used in rock. A lot of players use the Telecaster.
Oh, yeah.
It's in rock, it's in blues, it's all over the place.
Are there any metal players using a Telecaster?
I have no idea. Me? Are you asking me?
Oh, man, well, yeah, but anybody.
Well, B.B. King used one.
Well, but he wasn't heavy metal.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, the thing is, if you want to go that route, look at Albert King. He used a Flying V.
Oh, yeah.
And people all the time used to come out and they're like, well, what is a metal player doing out here on a blues stage? And he actually played blues.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a little bit more sense, than again, you look at the guitar and you're like, oh, that's a metal guitar. That's a blues guitar. But in all reality, it can be any genre you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Actually, you want to know something? There are, I'm just looking up, I just GTS'd it, and there's a bunch of stuff out here. There's a lot of companies that, like ESP makes a sort of a similar telly for metal. There's a bunch of them. I'm really surprised.
Interesting.
Well, you sent pictures to our group chat, and of course I zoomed in. And I was like, it's super scratched up. Why would you get that? Why would you buy it? It's like super scratched up. And then Dad's like, where? And he kept texting. Right. And I was like zooming into the picture, taking a screenshot and circling in red everywhere where it appeared to be scratched.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I just sat back and enjoyed that conversation. I was like, I know what you're doing. I know what's going on.
Well, no, I wasn't trying to be negative, but eventually I found out it's like the plastic. It's like the removable plastic.
Yes.
They have on there. So yeah, so that makes sense.
It's a covering so that it doesn't
get scratched. Yeah.
Doesn't get scratched. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you take it off, play it, and then it gets scratched.
Right. But I didn't know if it was used or if it was brand new. So I was like,
it's brand new.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just found out I just GTS'd this, and I found out there are 5 good reasons to use a Telecaster for metal.
Oh, really? There's actually an article out there.
Yes.
Yeah. People get paid good money just to create catchy titles, and then you read through it and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're mostly filled with links anyway, affiliate ads and all that nonsense that you have to go through.
And
there's a guy. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that it's true. It's all advertising and market. It's clickbait is what it is.
Right.
I did find this guy. What's his name here? His last name is Root. Jim Root.
Oh, Slipknot.
Is it really? Oh, yeah, that's right. An Iowa-based band.
There you go. He
Yeah,
plays a
Jim Root.
Telecaster?
Yeah, he plays a Telecaster. He's got the EMG 81s and 60 active pickups on it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, the
there you go.
active. Yeah, that makes sense.
Look at Keith Richards. Here's the thing. The reason why I bought it is look at Keith Richards.
He's.
I mean,
I'd
he's
rather
like
not.
he's like 900 years
he
old.
He looks like a bag of bananas left out in the sun for way too long.
Right, but if I grow that old because I play a Telecaster, great.
That's the fountain of music youth right there.
Yes. There you go. All right.
All right. I'm going to play some intro music.
There you go.
All right.
I got to find it. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite chaotic guitar podcast or pandemic guitar podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tim. I'm doing just fine right here on microphone number 1. As always, we're going to put him on microphone number 2. That's Rick. We know him as our guitar dad. Rick, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Oh, I just said I'm doing good. Yeah.
And how's Amanda?
Oh, yeah. Well, she's on microphone number 3. She's the reason why we're doing this. You know, she's the comedy.
Duh. Yeah, I'm all right. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting kind of sick.
Uh-oh.
So that's not very fun. Yeah, kind of feel a little ugh.
Nobody
It's
likes
kind of going
that.
around, isn't it?
Yeah, it was going around. I think for just about the entire month of January, it was going around, and I think it's kind of working its way out of the air around here.
Yeah. Well, it made its way over here, unfortunately.
It wasn't my fault.
Nope, not mine.
No.
I don't know how the wind blows, but it doesn't blow in your direction because we get all the smoke from the forest fires out west.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
Right.
Yep.
Well, probably mostly from Colorado, if I were to assume.
Yeah, I mean, well, we
Right?
get it from California too, because everything just seems to go east for the most part.
It's always on fire here, so strong possibility.
Oh yeah. So this episode, we found out this is kind of funny. Dad, you brought this up. You're like, I was listening back to the podcast, and you were naming off the names on the wheel, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and all of a sudden the wheel spins, and it lands on BB King, and you're like, you didn't say BB King's name, and I'm like, what? He was on the wheel.
Yeah, I don't think he said BB King.
Yeah. Apparently, I missed saying BB King was on the wheel.
Oh,
and
okay.
I almost want to listen back to see if I missed somebody else or not. But yeah, I don't know. But this episode is our wheel spin BB King.
Well, this was almost the episode that didn't happen. From the sounds of it, because we had some scheduling issues today, and we decided to go out of town real quick, and totally kind of forgot that we had planned to record today, but also somebody forgot to put it on the calendar until we got on the road, and then I saw a pop-up saying, "Oh, we're recording today." I was like, "Oops."
Yeah, sorry about that, but Dad's like, well, I mean, it'd just be me and you, and I'm like, I'm not going to make Amanda angry. We're going to figure this out.
Oh, that's hilarious. Because I was like, oh, Tim's probably pissed. He's probably so upset. He's probably so mad.
No, I wasn't. I was just like, kind of messes up my whole schedule, and I'm trying to figure out how to make it work, and I'm like, and then Dad texts me. He's like, I think we can do 6:30, and then you're like, oh, 6:45, and then I'm like, once you said 6:45, I was like, I'm going downstairs and making dinner. So I'm like, it's going to be closer to 7. But here we are. We pulled it off. We're going to have an amazing episode, and everybody's going to learn a little bit about an amazing musician, the great BB King.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you want to?
It was actually kind of funny because, well, hold on. Okay. It was actually kind of funny. Well, I wouldn't say funny. It's just kind of coincidental, I should say. We ended up going to this town about an hour away. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And we were going to go there to go do some antiquing, walk around, We end up go in there and they're having their town celebration. So it was a zoo. It was crazy.
Oh wow.
So there were all of these vendors. And then we walked by this guy, and he was an artist, and he was doing like portraits of different famous people, and he had propped up right next to him a really really cool portrait that he made of BB King, and
Ooh.
I was like, we're doing a BB King episode. And there were so many, there were bands, there were like guitarists, there were acoustic guitarists sitting on the corners singing. There were bands that were really good. I'm like, I should have brought my picks, but I didn't even know that they were having their town celebration. So it would have been kind of cool to hand those out because I think
Oh
it would have
yeah.
been
You
a
should
good
always
crowd
keep
for
a
that.
few in your pocket anywhere you go.
I
Yep.
should.
Even if you're
Yeah.
going to the grocery store.
I guess. I mean,
Did
now
you
I
buy
know.
the picture? Was it for sale?
It was for sale. I did not buy it. No,
Oh.
I
What
didn't
was the
buy it.
price tag? Did you look?
I didn't look,
Oh. I'm
didn't
sure
look.
it was ridiculous.
but it was really good. Probably. It was really good though. I mean, it would have been worth it. It's a very good portrait.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
So I did the notes on this again. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, I should say.
Okay.
Carrying the weight.
Well, here's the thing: is I didn't even realize we were going to be recording this weekend. I forgot, and I ended up just doing the notes on Friday because I was supposed to be working, but I was we're a little dead. So
Yeah.
I ended up just pulling up my notes, and I had my laptop up with everything I was researching, and then I was adding it into my phone. And just picked out some interesting things about him and his life and his upbringing. And then after that, I think we'll just kind of talk about his guitars, which I think will be interesting because we kind of talk about the whole Lucille thing, which is
Mhm.
really interesting if you don't know about it.
Mhm.
All right. Are we going to jump on in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
Go for it.
B.B. King. He was born Riley B. King in 1925 in Mississippi. Has anybody been to Mississippi?
Ah, yes.
What's
Yeah.
it like?
Well, okay. So I went to Mississippi for Katrina relief.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah, it was not my favorite state by any means.
Really?
Yeah, it's I mean, well, obviously everything was just ripped apart by a massive hurricane, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's issue number one. But yeah, there's just from what I remember, there's nothing to see. It's kind of like driving through Nebraska until you get
Ugh.
closer to the ocean, and then the
Right.
bugs come out, and you have to pull over every 10 minutes to clean your windshield.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago, so it might be different now.
I actually found out Mississippi is one of the cheapest states to live in, and I guess that would make sense now.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's-
I don't know that I've been in Mississippi. Dad, have you been to Mississippi?
I went through it one time.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so
Well,
I feel like you probably saw everything you need to see.
Yeah.
kind
You know
of-
what the
okay.
difference is between then and now?
What?
But more bugs.
Probably.
Oh, okay. All right. So he was first introduced to music through his church, where he met a guitar playing reverend. After the death of his mother and his grandmother when he was 10 years old, he started playing on street corners for only dimes.
And when
It's
he
kinda
was
crazy.
10 years old?
No, well,
I mean, okay, so the way that I look at that is, okay, cool. You're introduced to music through your church. You meet a guitar player. He's the reverend, gets you into guitar. But what, like, was this when you were 6 years old and then you have 4 years under your belt? Or
I don't
is it just
know.
one of those things where, like, the reverend was good at teaching and it just came naturally? And, he's got
Yeah.
a year or less and he's playing music and making a couple coins on the street.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe he had to do it just to like make money to live.
Oh, I'm
If
sure.
his mom and his grandmother passed away, I mean, I didn't see anything about his father or anything like that, or other family, but I don't know, maybe he just did it to just survive too.
Could be.
Well, 1925, a dime was a lot of money.
Well,
Hey, wasn't that during the Depression, or was Depression in 1930?
In the 30s.
1931?
But it was
Okay.
leading up to the Depression.
Right. Okay. Eventually, he ended up joining the famous St. John's Gospel Singers as a singer and guitarist. By the 1940s, he was hitchhiking his way to Memphis to visit his cousin, who was a bluesman known as Booka White.
Never
Have
heard of the
either of
guy.
you listened to Booka White?
Nope.
No, I don't think so. But
Okay,
so he
I
was
did.
born in 25 and you're talking in the 40s. So he's in his 20s at this point.
Right. Yeah. So in
Okay.
his 20s, he's heading to Memphis. Booka White is that it's actually kind of cool. Like it's kind of like old timey bluesy. It's actually really good. I can't believe you guys didn't listen to it.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Is it like the Delta Blues?
Probably.
Okay.
It's just
Like the
it's
old
very bare
Mississippi.
bones. Yeah, it's just very bare bones, like him and
Yeah.
his guitar, his acoustic guitar. But I mean, it's definitely old. You can tell it's old, very
Yeah.
old timey.
Yeah. It's probably.
But I didn't realize he had like another musician family member. So that's kind of cool that, I mean, I'm sure he had him to kind of learn the ropes from and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, Probably a big influence for him.
Sure.
I
In
mean,
Memphis,
that's kind of crazy though to be again, it's the 40s, right?
uh-huh.
So what do you got? Like do you have buses? Like that's your
Yeah,
major mode of transportation, maybe some
yeah.
trains, whatever, but then you're going to make that journey, leave home, whatever home is. You got your guitar and your boots, and you're just
Yep.
Right.
gonna make do and get to where you want to go.
Yep.
I was trying to see how far that is from Mississippi.
It's a
Well,
ways.
I need to look
yeah,
at a map.
it is.
No, it's only like 3.5. Well, I guess it depends where you live in Mississippi.
Right. It depends on
Well,
where you live, and then it also depends on what your method of travel is. I mean,
Yeah.
if all you're doing is hitchhiking, I mean that 3.5 hour trip. Well, it would have been you. I'd imagine I wasn't alive back then, but I don't think cars did 75 miles an hour in the 40s.
No,
no.
probably not.
And
I
it
mean,
may
Dad
not
would
even.
know.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, more than either of
Well,
us.
I mean, you got to remember also that a lot of the roads weren't even built. A
Right.
lot of it was
Mhm.
horse and buggy, and
Well, I don't think
well, they were
that.
they were dirt roads that cars used,
Yeah, I was
Man,
gonna
I
but they
say
don't
weren't.
think
there's.
this is horse and buggy day. This isn't Little House on the Prairie.
I mean, I
Okay,
bet you there
so
was, but I mean, you still got cars, you got methods of transportation, but
Yeah.
still,
okay. So I found out exactly where he's from. So exactly where he's from to Memphis is only 2 hours and 21 minutes. So it's not that far.
not
So
terrible. But that's still, I
you could
bet you it
walk it.
was. Yeah, you sure could. I mean, he's in his 20s. He's probably got the stamina to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not talking, you know, small town Alabama to LA.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
not talking like
I
that
bet you it
far.
was. I bet you it was still at least a 1 day trip.
Probably.
Okay.
All right. So when he finally got to Memphis, he received his first big break when WDIA radio asked him to give a weekly performance plugging a health tonic. So I couldn't really find any more information about this. I don't know if he was like playing on his guitar like a jingle, like drink our health tonic, ding ding ding, whatever. I couldn't find anything on it. So I don't really know if it involved his music. I mean, it had to have, right? 'Cause that's when his big break came.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he's. Yeah, it just depends. Are you doing a jingle? Or are you just doing a voiceover?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume he would have had to be playing because that's, I guess, when he first got noticed.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I just did a
Yeah.
quick little bit of Google foo too, and I just Googled BB King health tonic. Yeah, nothing,
Okay. Well,
nothing pops up directly at me. So I'm like, okay,
by the 50s, he ended up signing his first record deal. And from there, he played 342 one night stands across the country.
Wow.
That's
that's
impressive.
wait, how many? 342.
342 one night stands across the country.
He didn't take a break.
No, that is working hard.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you got to figure holidays and, I mean, just the minimal holidays he probably took off.
Yep,
Yeah.
sleeping on the bus, getting out and performing, and just rinse and repeat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It wasn't until 1966, when he released The Thrill Is Gone, that he finally achieved success on the popular charts. From there, he made appearances on The Tonight Show and The Ed Sullivan Show, as well as he toured around the world from Soviet Union to Japan.
Yep.
Yeah, going from just doing shows in the United States to all over the world. That's a huge change. I have to imagine.
Oh yeah. Big
Yeah, he
change.
probably also went to larger venues because he only did small little dance halls for, the very beginning of his career.
Right.
Well,
Obviously, he
yeah,
just played wherever
everybody's
he
got to
could.
start small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Um,
imagine. I couldn't imagine having to go to the Soviet Union or Japan to play a concert.
why?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. And maybe it's just because of the time that I'm growing up in, where it's like everything is dangerous and will hurt you. Nobody's your friend,
Oh, oh,
you
is
know.
that, I wonder, is that like a thing in the family? Because I have the same thing. I wonder, like, you know what I mean? I have the same mind frame. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's a,
Well,
you
it's
know,
what the news is saying and so forth. I mean, there. I'm sure that back then there was issues all over the world too.
right.
But I don't think people were as educated or not educated back then, because how did news get out? How did information get out to you? Newspapers and radio.
Right.
You
Yeah.
didn't have news on every channel and internet and all the opinion. Like, people had opinions, but the majority of people didn't have a way to get their opinions out to the masses.
That's true.
So
That is true.
yeah, the world could have been falling apart back then, but nobody knew any better because they didn't buy a paper or they didn't have a radio. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unlike now, where we just have unlimited access to everything and everybody who can talk has an opinion on the
Mm-hmm.
internet.
Yep.
Um, Finally, King was inducted into the Blues Foundation Hall of Fame in 1984 and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. And he also received several honorary degrees and Grammy Awards in his lifetime.
Wow.
That's kind of cool because I didn't even know that there was the Blues Foundation Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So I had to look into that. I thought that was interesting because I've only just ever heard of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Right.
there's.
There's one
I
for
think
blues.
every genre has their own little Hall of Fame in some way, shape, or form.
Oh,
I mean, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is this big thing, right? And some people will never get. Some people with great talent will never get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we want to still honor the people that had an influence. So we create the Blues Foundation or whatever, and that might not be what it is, but
Yeah. I knew of the
Makes
two, but I don't know of any. Well, there might be one for country. I'm sure there is.
Oh yeah, the Country Music Awards or the Country Music Hall of Fame. Yeah,
I thought they were like fusing together though. Remember we
they're
talked about it?
I think they're trying to. I think that's what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is doing, is trying to make it. Yes, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but really it's the Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
Which cool,
It
but
kind
in
of
my
gets you though,
mind,
because then you're like, wait, is he really rock and roll?
yeah,
But then you think of it as it's more like a music Hall of
mm-hmm.
Fame.
Yeah. At some point, you're gonna have to change the name to be
Mm-hmm.
all encompassing, especially if you're gonna start bringing all the other genres in.
Yeah.
But this all happened in the 80s.
80s.
So I
Yep.
was just a young lad.
Yeah.
Back
So you
then,
were only,
the only
what,
thing I
7?
knew was the Beach Boys back then.
The Monkees.
Oh, the
Monkees.
Monkees too. Yeah,
The
yeah,
Monkees.
absolutely.
Oh. He ended up passing away in 2015. That was the year I got married. He passed away in 2015 at the age of 89. So he lived a really long life.
Yeah,
Really,
that's a
think
good
about it.
round number.
Yeah.
Yep.
Leaving 15 children behind.
Phew.
It's a lot
That's
of kids.
That's a big number.
That's a lot of kids. So apparently there was a
That's
big,
a
like,
lot of kids.
there was a big kerfuffle about his estate between all 15 kids once he passed away. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but okay.
to
So how
be
many baby
expected.
mamas though? 15 kids with one baby mama, or 15 kids with like
No, it sounded like it was
several baby mamas? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
See, so you're gonna have problems there.
right. Oh, I mean, he toured. Right? Lived a long life, toured. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yep.
Won
Who
several
knows?
awards, got to go on some late night talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
Influence. I mean, could you imagine if you could even keep track of the amount of artists that were influenced by BB King? Like
Right.
that's a huge accomplishment in its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yep.
interesting you say that because that one guy that you sent to us, oh gosh, what was his name?
Uh
The
shoot,
artist, the one dude you sent to us. Okay, well, getting back to being influenced, that guy was clearly influenced by Prince. You can tell. He's on Prince's label. Um, you sent him to us.
I've sent so many links of so many artists, I don't even know. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was it in text message?
Yeah.
Huh.
Let me see if I can find it.
Do.
Oh,
Hey,
It's
here it is.
oh.
Fantastic Negrito.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
tell. You can totally tell. I was like, before I even looked up about him and I listened to his music and I just looked at how he looked, like how he dressed, I was like, this guy's totally influenced by Prince. And then I found out he is influenced by Prince and he's on Prince's label.
I didn't know. So I did know about the influence of Prince, but I didn't know that he was on Prince's label.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and
But he's
that's
good too.
yeah, he's really good. I mean, just another artist that because I try to listen to music throughout my workday, and I try to listen to new stuff, and I just stumbled upon him, and I was like, this stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's why
It's
I sent it
funky.
out.
It's different.
Yeah. So, Dad, do you have any BB King songs that you can play on your new Telecaster?
uh,
Can you play any BB King songs?
the thrill is gone.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It's not that. It's really not that hard.
Well,
Right.
Wow.
someone like myself,
Yeah,
I'm sure it's difficult.
I've got like a bag full of like 6 riffs. That's my limit right there. So,
I don't think I've
Nope.
ever heard you play BB King, Dad. You play a lot
Um,
of SRV.
Yeah.
he does play a lot of SRV.
Eric
Yeah.
Clapton,
Yeah.
Billy
Can you play?
Gibbons.
Can you play Layla?
Actually, I used to know it. I probably
Okay.
still, if I play around with it, I probably could still get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
you're asking the guy who you could literally just play a song on your phone and 60
True.
seconds later he's like, this is pretty close. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the guy who taught you how to play Mission Impossible theme.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Did you see the new one?
No, I didn't.
No, I haven't seen the new one.
Oh.
There comes a point where you're like, it's been done, guy.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about some guitars here because everybody likes
Okay.
guitars.
Yeah, I mean
Yep.
that's why we're here. All right. So in his early days, he played just a Fender Telecaster. So Dad, you know all about that. I don't think it
Yeah.
was a butterscotch one, but
Oh, I don't know what he had. I didn't even, to be perfectly honest with you, until I read that, and then I looked it up. I didn't even know he had a Telecaster.
Yeah, I didn't either. So the next one that you're going to mention is Gibson 335. That's the one anytime I picture BB King, that's the one that I picture.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. That's the well-known one. Dad, or I felt like Dad was going to say more to that, but
No, it is.
Okay.
It is the the
is it not?
the 355 is really the one
You know what? Here's the
because
thing. I was going to add the 355, but I thought
Right.
that maybe it was just being dyslexic and it meant that 335 and the 355. I thought it was the same thing.
no, it has it has the more stuff on the more inlay on the
Okay.
fretboard and stuff, and the head stock is different.
Okay, well then we should add Gibson 355 on there as well. So
Right.
that's 3 guitars.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have me do the notes. I don't
Well,
I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to put it
No,
on
but-
there.
I mean, that's is Lucille, is that the 335?
Yes.
All of his Gibsons.
Yeah. Basically,
so all
yeah,
of his
that is true.
Gibsons.
Yeah, so every guitar that he had after Telecaster, he named Lucille.
Well, how do you tell them apart if they all have the same name?
I don't know. Okay, well, here, I'll just go ahead and tell the story then. This is
Okay.
a good segue. All right, the story of Lucille. Okay, I this whole time thought he had a gal that broke his heart named Lucille, and that's why he wanted to name his guitar that. Not at
Nope,
all.
nope, nope,
Not
nope.
at all. Much more interesting than that. Um, so in 1949, he was playing in Arkansas, otherwise known as
Arkansas.
Arkansas,
Yeah, Arkansas.
at a
We
dance
don't want your
hall.
Kansas. We have our own Kansas. It's our Kansas.
Uh, he was playing at a dance hall in Arkansas when a fight broke out between two men. Both men knocked over a barrel of kerosene because apparently that's how they used to heat the dance halls back in those days. Um, Knocked over a barrel of kerosene, sending the burning fuel across the floor, which erupted into flames. Scary.
Dun, dun,
After
dun.
after evacuating, King realized that his $30 Gibson was still in the building. $30 Gibson, first of all. So he
Oh.
ran back in to save it.
So
Later,
this, go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was going
No,
to
you go
say, so
ahead. No,
this
you
is,
go.
I want to say $30.
In what? 1949.
Yeah. So $30, 1949 today. Three, 386.65.
Okay. I guess I could understand that then. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and if you think about it too, he was still starting out, I guess, back then, right? 1949. So yeah, he probably doesn't want anything to happen to his,
Well,
his
yeah, no,
moneymaker,
yeah.
right? He doesn't
Nobody,
have probably a plethora of guitars to choose from. Like, I'll just grab my other one,
right.
All
$30
right.
Gibson.
So later, he learned that the two men who had started the fire by fighting, they were fighting over a woman named Lucille. He ended up naming his guitars Lucille to remind himself never to do something as stupid as running into a burning building again and to never fight over a woman.
Now you see,
That's kind of funny.
I would
But
look at
it's
it a
just
different
Gibson.
way.
You got to save the Gibson.
Yes, that's the way I would look at it. Got to save the
Okay.
Gibson. Or I would never leave the guitar in the place. That would be my thing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd think he would run out of the building with it in his hand, but
Well, yeah, but if he was on like a short intermission,
True.
put his guitar on the stand, ran off to, take a potty break, and then all of a sudden the building goes up on fire, you might forget about your guitar until
true.
you get outside, and then you're like, oh, crap.
I'm pretty sure that's the first thing you learn like elementary school. You know when the firefighters come in elementary and they do like this little thing with you to learn how to stop, drop, and roll. Pretty sure that's the first thing they tell you to do is never run back into a burning building for anything.
Well,
Not your
Right.
dog, not your Barbie doll. You don't run back in.
right. Well, and you don't worry about grabbing your stuff on the way out. You just get out.
Right. That's true. Well, I would grab my dogs. I mean, you'd grab your
Right,
cat. You'd grab
yeah.
the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be
Mhm.
I'd be trying to drag my safe back up the stairs, and then I'd have to run back in for the guitars. And,
That's funny. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I had no idea what the story was behind the whole name of the Lucille thing.
I didn't either.
yeah,
Maybe
I
he
mean
really
that's
likes Lucille Ball, like me. I don't know.
right. That's like I love Lucy so much.
Well, in 1949, I guess she probably wouldn't have been a thing yet, but
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Not a bad story, to be honest with
No.
you.
No.
And just a couple things that I found that were kind of interesting. BB King's Gibson Custom Lucille is currently sells for around $7K. Have you guys looked it up?
No.
Taking a peek at it?
Yeah, I did. I think it's more like about 9K, but
Well, I was looking at Street Puddle.
uh-huh.
That's what I found on Street Puddle.
And that's what they said on Street Puddle is
Yeah,
7K.
7K.
It's
Yeah.
just under 7K. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
I seen one. I just looked at one just a little while ago, and it was 9K, 8.5.
Really? Well,
yeah,
maybe they vary. Maybe there's different.
Well, yeah, there's different things, different customizations done to them.
Is a BB King Gibson custom Lucille on your list, Dad, or not necessarily?
No, I'm not really into the 335 or the 355s.
Okay. What about you, Tim?
So let's just say that I won the lottery and I'm on the phone with Sam, right? Because I'm like, hey man, no, I don't
Yeah.
think that I would drop 7K on a Gibson. There's just,
Really?
yeah, there's just nothing wrong with Gibson. And I don't think I've ever played a Gibson. It's just, it's
Is that your
kind
cup
of,
of tea?
huh?
That's not your cup of tea?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, Gibson's kind of like, Gibson to me is kind of like the Nike of shoes. It's a brand. And
Okay.
really, there's a lot of other products out there that are just as good, not if not better, for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
Interesting. Dad,
Well,
what
I
is
go back.
your rebuttal?
Okay. Well, I go to I don't really have a rebuttal on it, but I look at what Momstein said about it. Ingve Momstein.
Wait,
You're
hold on.
obsessed with that dude.
Yeah,
Hold on.
and he's basically.
I thought you were calling Mom Ingve Momstein.
Oh.
No.
No.
Like, I have to get
No.
this purchase approved through Ingve Momstein.
Yeah, the mob boss.
That's
No,
hilarious.
he always they asked him why does he always play a Fender Stratocaster and not a Gibson, and he says Gibson's like fine furniture.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you bought a $1,000 couch, you're gonna use it like a couch. But if you
Right.
spent $20,000 on a couch, you're gonna be like, don't sit on that until I deem you special.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
it's
know, you
fine
don't let
furniture.
your dog jump up on your $20,000 couch.
I got it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I do have I do have a fail. I got a few nice Gibsons, and I don't even I won't take them to a gig or anything like that. So I very rarely take them out. I just tune them up every once in a while, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have I would like to get another acoustic because I have the Tim Armstrong Hellcat Anniversary Edition.
Right.
I don't want to take the chance of anything happening to that, so I'm not going to take it out anywhere. So I wouldn't mind getting another acoustic, something a little bit more affordable. That well, I'll take it out. You know, maybe take a trip up north and throw in a D chord on the jam session. I don't know, like trip you all up.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
Well,
it.
that's the thing here, is that's why the cheaper guitars are so appealing because, you're sitting somewhere and you're jamming with a bunch of people. You have a Gibson on a guitar stand and it falls over and the neck snaps,
Right.
cracks. I mean, in that now you're looking at big bucks to have it fixed. I mean, with anything, even if you look at even a Telecaster, you can go out and spend $3,000 or $7,000 on a Telecaster.
Sure.
And if you smack it into an amp, that's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if you can get a really nice guitar for 500 or under, and
Right.
if you bump it and get a dent in the paint or a chip, now, I mean, it's character at that point.
Right.
You might get a little upset at first, but it's just character, whatever. But yeah, if it was a
Right.
$7,000 guitar, no, that's like, to me, that's something that now I have to buy a case, like a display case for. I have to pay an extra money to Energy to light it up.
It's meant to be played.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean?
But I told you, if I was a full-time musician, my mentality would be much different than
Right.
as
Right.
somebody who is still like, I'm 4 years into learning and I'm still super novice. I can't
Right.
justify $7,000 on a guitar.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an example. When I purchased the Telecaster yesterday, the Scott, who works at Guitar Box there, he says to me, he says, he says, you want a really nice case for it? He says, I got a hard shell tweed. It's $150. And I said, hell no.
Right.
Beep.
I said, just a gig bag. And he's like, I said, the guitar is going to become, the Telecaster I bought, it's going to become a workhorse. So I'll be playing it a lot, basically.
Right.
How
much was it? Can you tell us?
I got a good deal on it.
Okay, well, that's how it always starts.
I don't want to say anything just in case somebody's,
okay. Can you say like more than this, but less than this?
Okay, more than a dollar and less than $1 million.
Okay, that's
fair.
not fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
2 against 1.
Yeah. No, you'll have that. So anything else to add?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say. I was just going to say the people at Guitar Bucks, they really don't want me to discuss a lot of stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Did you have to sign an NDA?
No, but I just respect their, because I see all the time, there's people that put on, they post on a lot of the nets and stuff that they say, hey, on the forums, I should say, that, hey, I walked in there, they don't do nothing, they don't give any deals, they don't do, well, yeah, but I know these guys a long time and, they know me. It's a little different, there's a little.
That's a valid point. When you establish relationships with people and, over time you can work deals and so on and so forth,
right.
That if other people were to randomly just be like, oh, well, wait a second, I heard on this podcast or I saw on this forum that you're giving this guitar out for this price, it just creates a big headache. And then they can no longer do specials for their special customers.
Right. I'll give you a perfect example. There's another place in town, a Ma and Pa shop, and it's still around. And I did a lot of web work for the guy, probably about a week and a half straightening out stuff. He had a lot of problems with the links and stuff. So I fixed it all for him. And he turned around and he asked me what I wanted. And I said, guitar. So he says,
Gibson.
Huh?
$7,000 Gibson.
I wish. No, he came out. He pulled out of this thing. It was a white guitar. It was a Charvel, I should say. And matter of fact, you've seen it, Tim, and you've seen it, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, that guitar was worth $1,800, but I basically paid less than $75 out of my pocket for it.
Well, yeah,
with all the work I did.
But yeah, you traded labor for a product instead of taking the cash option. And he probably saved himself some money by doing that.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. That's what happens. In a lot of my instances is I help people with different things and, so.
You scratch their back.
They scratch
your back. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I get it. All right. I didn't realize that. Sorry.
I get some pretty good deals like that. Not all the time. I used to get a lot more long time ago, but,
Yeah, he gets such good deals that when I walk in, they're like, that's Rick's son. Ignore him.
Well, do you remember that Stratocaster, your first Stratocaster you bought there?
The Bullet. Yeah.
Yeah. How much was it? And what did I got? What, 75 or?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what
the story goes. This was, I believe it was right at the beginning of the year 2020.
Right.
I had cash in my pocket and I went to Guitar Box and I'm not a lot of cash in my pocket. I'm looking for my first starter guitar. Looking back at it now, probably not worth it. But I found one that I liked and I spent like an hour and a half there and I didn't even get acknowledged. So I'm like, all right, cool. Right. So I left. I called you and then told you the story. And the next day you call me, you're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing, just sitting home. Like, hey, meet me at Guitar Box. Okay, sure. I go there. And I think the shelf price was $135.
Yeah.
And I think I walked out, I want to say like $88.
Yeah. Something like that. It was,
but they're not losing any money at $88 on that. I mean, it's literally
No.
the Fender's lowest of the low end guitars.
Yeah. And plus the thing is it was probably, it was, I don't remember what the tag said. It was probably old stock. Their new year coming in, they want to get rid of it. That everything they have on their wall costs a lot of money. That shelf space costs a lot of money, and they got to keep moving instruments,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Well, and I
sometimes you can.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it too, is because you have those relationships with those people, and they allowed a sale to walk out of the store by simply not acknowledging, like not saying, "Hey, welcome to the shop. You're number 3 in line. I'll be right with you."
Right, yeah.
That I would have been like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'll walk around," but instead. Not a single, like I was not there. So you got to kind of make up for that in my opinion.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Enough said on that subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're way off subject actually. Let's see. What do we got coming up? I think
Hold on. I have one more thing about BB King.
Oh,
okay. Go ahead.
So in 2019, a guitar given to him for his 80th birthday sold for auction at $28,000 or $280,000.
That makes more sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually was kind of surprised. I figured it'd be more than that, but I don't know. I mean, because the most expensive guitar ever sold at auction was Kurt Cobain's guitar, obviously.
Right. But it all depends on the time and the availability and who you got with money looking for it.
Yeah, but the key word here is the guitar was given to BB King.
Oh, right. So he may not have even played it.
Or he might have played it once and that was it. But the thing is that the real Lucille that he always played is probably worth quite a bit of money.
True. Yeah, I didn't say anything about that, but yeah. I mean, that's a good point because when he received it, he was 80 and then he passed away 9 years later. So really at that point in his life, I mean, who knows how much guitar playing he was actually doing. So
yeah,
he may not
I don't
have
know.
even really
You
touched
never know.
that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
All right.
upcoming.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I think the next episode comes out March 7th?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's March 7th and is now I feel like I have to Google this. Yes, okay. So March is Women's History Month.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I wanted to Google it before I said it. I made that mistake once. So I think our next episode is going to be female guitarists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we could do the whole month as well. It's only 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's only 2 episodes. We'll just do the whole month. We'll pick some female artists and we'll have some conversation about them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them out there that are really good.
Exposure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Well, why don't you get us out of here, Amanda?
Okay, I guess. All right. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Pandemic Guitar Podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. And that was a whole lot, guys, right?
Heck yeah.
Just me. All right.
Yep.
Crickets.
Yep.
Let us know what you thought by reaching out to us on Instagram at Pandemic Guitar, by email, pandemicguitar@icloud.com, and also on Facebook. Until next time, keep on playing or don't. We won't tell.
Woo woo. All right.
Yep.
See everybody in 2 weeks.
Mic drop.
Yep.
See ya.
Yep. Bye-bye. Take care, everybody.
Bye.